see you all here. My name's Colette Fuller. As Nettie has just very kindly explained, I'm here today with Caroline Carlin. We're both learning technologists at the University of Central Lancashire. If you're not sure where that is, that's actually in Preston. We should be the University of Preston. Jenny, yes, the lunch was fab. We all enjoyed the lunch. It was really nice. We're here today. We want to share our experiences with you on our Creative Learning Spaces project, which has been running at the university now for maybe just over a year. Last summer, we wanted to really support staff with the change from very traditional didactic approaches to teaching, sort of standing up at the front of the lecture theatre and just talking to their students. And we really wanted to support them with the change to explore more ways, different approaches to teaching, the more active delivery, providing their students with opportunities to collaborate, discuss, and sort of be a lot more joined together and get more involved in the classroom experience. So to do that, we did a number of different things. We really wanted to also enable to really enhance our student experience as well. That was a really big thing for us. Maybe helping staff think about their learning objectives differently as well, and really just providing them with more options. So we did three things. There are three key aspects that were part of this project, which is obviously here on our title today: people, places and pedagogy. Three key aspects really important to us. So the first one was around people. We really wanted to, well, we were really excited about this project actually. Caroline and I have both been at the university for a long time. I won't tell you how long. And I don't know whether any of you remember different types of technology that you might have also rolled out at your institutions. So do any of you remember the PDAs? Yeah? We were excited when we had a PDA. Who knew you could look at your calendar on a little device, you know, how things have changed. And we also rolled out iPads a few years ago as well. And bit of a mixture of how those sorts of technologies have been rolled out at the university. So when we had the opportunity of giving members of staff a Surface Pro, we really wanted to help them feel more invested in that technology and really start from the very beginning, from when they actually got the device, because I'm not really sure in the past we've really sort of done any mandatory training with members of staff on devices. A lot of them will say to us, I know how to use X, Y and Z, I'm comfortable with that. Whereas in this case, we didn't really give them any other choice but to attend a mandatory training session called Surface Pro Foundation. So that's where we started right at the very beginning. We started actually, but before that, with a little pilot. We had a number of staff who were very keen to use a device, the Surface Pro, and we actually started with a small number of 20 members of staff. But you can imagine what would happen in a university when 20 members of staff had got a Surface Pro that quickly escalated, and we had lots of people inquiring, can I be part of your project? So the small number of members of staff on the project expanded to, I think that maybe I might actually ended up with 100 just on the pilot. To see members of staff with these shiny new devices that they've been provided with, there was a lot of intrigue at the very beginning. So because the pilot grew, we decided we would start with a more formal process. Caroline and I developed a Surface Pro Foundation workshop, which I just mentioned. It was mandatory, so when members of staff said, I know how to use the Surface Pro, I have one at home, or they've got, you know, other colleagues that have Surface Pros, I already know how to use it. We said, well, you have to come to the Surface Pro Foundation workshop to get the device. We actually had quite a limited number of places, so we only really allowed maybe 8 on each session. And we were just inundated. Last summer we had, last summer we provided, 850 image Surface Pros. That's 856 members of staff. And I think between June and September it was around 600, wasn't it? So we actually had a very busy summer last year, just doing Surface Pro Foundation sessions. And there was about, I think there's about 106 sessions as well that we offered. So yeah, you'll work it out. There were some extras on some of the sessions as well, just because there was just so much excitement around these devices. So we really wanted them to sort of feel really invested in this technology. So when they came to the session, it was a little bit like Christmas Day. They all had the Surface Pro box on the desk. They all sat down. Oh, can't wait to open. Are we allowed to open it? So they opened it up and we went through all of the basics with them. So we obviously had members of staff there said, oh yes, I already know how to use one of these. And that's fine, but we're just going to go through all of the basics with you today so that you can leave the room knowing exactly what you need to do to get up and running. Obviously there were some members of staff who were a little bit hesitant and what am I going to be doing with this device? But we wanted to make them feel comfortable straight away. So many, obviously the same as within your universities, they all had a network PC at their desk in their office. So we showed them how to do the equivalent on their Surface Pro. And because of some very clever individuals at the university who created the exact same experience on their Surface Pro, but also they had full admin rights. So they could go away and then install whatever else they wanted on that device, which was just for them a miracle. They were very excited. So we showed them how to do basics like how to access their email, how to access their drives, their printers, other university software, like things that they can't really go and access at home. And when we told them that they could then use this device anywhere in the world and at home, they were just over the moon. They were really, really relieved, weren't they, in one way. The fact that they didn't have to rely on other university services like remote access anymore. They could just take their device home and carry on as if they were at the university, which was me. Oh my goodness me, really? Right, okay, very quickly. So our session, we sort of introduced them to a few little basics as well. So we introduced them to things like OneDrive, tentatively, just to introduce the idea to them. And then we also had a full programme of other sessions, which Caroline's going to go on to in a moment. But I've realised I've actually gone way over my time limit. But just quickly, we refurbished over 200 classrooms last summer. So we provided members of staff with different options in terms of how they could use those rooms, using their Surface Pro in there as well. So let me just show you a quick picture of our board. So these are the different layouts. So the first layout there was cluster. So this was for allowing more collaborative approaches and getting students to work together. And then this one is a runway, so it's more tutor focused, but great for small groups as well. So this is the podium in the front of the classroom, and this allowed members of staff to connect to the podium at the front. They could either use a regular PC, just as they would be familiar with in the past, which was great. And if they had visitors or students that wanted to do a presentation, they're still using the sort of standard university kit. Or they could use a HDMI cable if they've brought their own laptop along. But if they've got a Surface Pro, they had two options. They could use the connection, the cable at the front of the classroom, so they could just connect it, and that would give it a bit of charge as well if they wanted to give it a boost whilst they were in that room. But then the best option was wireless, which enabled them to project onto the board at the front of the classroom, and then they could sit with their students around the room and then use their pen on their device. They could, and that was a really great option for them. So it was really sort of introducing them to these options. But I will let Caroline explain a little bit more around our development programme which supported that and how that worked.
Okay, right. I'm going to have to be quick with this. So they have the kit, they have the nice new classroom spaces, but obviously a big challenge for us as learning technologies and within our team is to really kind of help support staff in embedding this within teaching and working practices. So we kind of came up with three options that we presented to senior management in our service, a kind of a light, middleweight and heavyweight approach, we thought of it as. And we were really pleased that they went with the heavyweight approach, which started off with, as Colette said, that Surface Pro foundation session, a little bit of kind of online mandatory training. But then we had this kind of tiered programme of development which was designed to evolve over time. This isn't a static programme. And you can see a lot of it is kind of around Office 365 type products, which are absolutely perfect with the Surface Pro in terms of flexibility, mobility. We have things in there like OneDrive, so we're keen to get staff taking full advantage of being able to use their files on any kind of device. Things like OneNote, absolutely brilliant. We got a fantastic before and after photos from our head of law. The before picture was bags carried around campus with files, folders, notebooks in. The after picture, just the Surface Pro. Everything's in OneNote. So we did this with a kind of bronze, silver and gold to give some kind of structure so that staff could maybe see a starting point and how they might progress through. New sessions have been added in. We've just added in Microsoft Teams in there. Quite a recent one. Who knew you could spend an hour, write, draw and annotate with a Surface Pro pen, but it's so important because it just changes the way that you can do things. Annotating in OneNote, Word, providing assessment, feedback to students. So that's kind of the whole programme as it is at the moment. The way we deliver these sessions is quite different as well. Rather than doing a kind of traditional sort of training session, if you will, we ask staff to bring their devices. We've got a maximum of 6 people per session, and we sit around a table with them. We can wirelessly connect to a board so they can see our screens as well. And we've just found, for us it's much nicer delivering those kind of sessions, but staff are exploring, they're discovering. It's more like we're facilitating rather than telling them click here, do this, do that. And it's a lot more about them sitting and thinking, okay, so this is the technology, but what do I need to achieve with this? And we find they're discussing a lot more within the sessions. So we're trying to keep in mind that kind of pedagogy first approach. We don't just want people to come along and say, this is a technology, how will I use it? But think about what do I want to achieve? What are my learning outcomes for a module? And will this help achieve it? So following on from that, you know, some staff will go away and use the software, but other staff will meet with them and we'll discuss what their needs are as well. So it's a lot more than just that kind of specific programme. One of the really big things that's made a difference is we've worked really closely with the Centre of Excellence in Learning and Teaching. This is the lovely Val, academic member of staff. We have, she sort of talks to academic staff, finds out what they're doing at the moment, what good practice, developing case studies that then we can share with academic staff. Also focus groups which we've attended so that we can find out what are the needs of staff and we can sort of help them develop what they need to and what would be the most appropriate app to do it. And alongside that, we've been doing some kind of team teaching with Val on the PG Cert in Learning and Teaching, which is for new and early career staff. So they will get, Val can talk to them about the theory and the rationale for including technology within sessions, and then we can actually start talking to them about the technology as well. And we'll expect to see those staff as they progress through the certificate. So it's a great way for us to start talking to those staff and finding out what their needs are. Right, there was a little video. I'm not going to play that because I haven't got time. But Microsoft created a video with us which shows how staff are using it. If anybody wants to see that, give us a shout at any time in the next 2 days and we can tell you the details of how to find it. It's quite a nice video. But essentially we're talking about those 3 aspects combined together, but we've just picked out 6 key things that we thought worked really, really well, that have really made a difference. So as Colette was talking about the Surface Pro device, it's fully imaged. It's just like picking up your desktop PC, taking it home, taking it into a classroom. Rather than a standalone device, which we've kind of done in the past with things like iPads, it hasn't really worked. The collaboration between Celt and Telt, between the 2 teams, enabling us to kind of find the hook. What do staff actually want to get out of the device and the new applications? Throughout the project, we've had really, really close links with Microsoft, which has given us some great training opportunities. We've been down to London, we've been on the MS boot camp. Don't know if anybody was there a couple of weeks ago. We had 3 days. Yes, we recognised you. We held a Transformational Technologies Conference at the university a month or so ago, which we co-hosted with Microsoft, and we'll be doing that again either later this year or next year. We've got the evolving programme of development linked to Office 365, and because of that, Office 365 by its very nature, it's evolving, it's changing, so we've always got something fresh and interesting to share with staff. We also created a very practical website which staff could go to, known issues, frequently asked questions, support guides, videos, and staff were really, really appreciative of that. They really liked it because we've made it quite deliberately just very, very practical place to go. And sitting within that, we created a new bespoke staff development hub. So all our sessions are on there. Staff can go in there, they can search by application, by title. We've got in total around about 40 or 50 sessions across our whole team, which we've mapped the digital capabilities framework by JISC. So staff can go in there and they can see any sessions that might be relevant for a Surface Pro or for collaboration or digital creation. Very quickly, because it's questions now, I'll just share with you a little bit of feedback. We have some work to do yet in terms of sort of deciding on finding out the impact of what we've done so far. And although we're saying this is a 12-month project, it's not really got an end date. It's kind of just the start of quite a transformation for us at the university. We have done one survey, and I just wanted to share this bit of feedback with you because it's just brilliant. It kind of sums up what we wanted to achieve, and you can kind of feel the enthusiasm in there of the difference it's made for this member of staff in terms of teaching, in terms of productivity, and in particular at the end, you know, it's been absolutely life-changing. Other staff, I know, it just really sums up what we want to achieve and what we really want to support staff with. Other people have said slightly less, but nevertheless, no less valuable, because it is essentially their desktop PC, and they can pick it up, take it home, take it wherever they want to go. Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So when members of staff got given a Surface Pro, we explained to them that at some point we would like to take their desktop PC away, which. Oh yeah.
How do you deal with that? How does that respond to that?
I think Office Mix has probably been quite unique in that it's been around for 3 or 4 years, and then they've said it's going. So it has been quite a challenge. We do have quite a lot of staff who use it. So we've been contacting them. Obviously, they've had the emails from Microsoft. We've just had to kind of deal with it as and when we can, really.
But I mean, I think that's when you get through
Yeah.
staff development. And I mean, I remember that one note was going to do everything right through it. But
They're getting rid of, I think they're removing the desktop app, and the actual store app will become the default, but moving things from the desktop app into the store app. I think we've just got, sorry.
It's all right. I was going to say we have good relationship with Microsoft now, so we do talk to them and we ask them questions, challenging questions about things like Office Mix, so that we know at the moment that us as a university, we need to change the version of Microsoft Office that we're on to the click to run version, so that we then get the recording tab. That will then give staff some of the options of Office Mix, and therefore we're going to be, you know, really pushing hard to get the other features and talking to Microsoft about what they've actually taken away. So that did cause, it did ruffle some feathers.
I think though it was also a lesson learned in that we really need to be quite cautious when things are in preview. And it's perhaps not as obvious as we think. We thought it was now a product.
Yeah, it's been around for so long.
Yeah, so a lesson for us as well, really, in that.
Yeah. Gentleman behind you had his hand up.
Following on, I see some very positive feedback from the individual staff members. Are there any plans to link this project through to, I suppose, more, dare I say this word, metric-based assessment, like TEF or NSS schools?
Good question.
Yeah.
Not entirely sure at the moment. I suspect it will go that way.
Yeah.
But we can take your details, I'll give you our details, and we can let you know how we start assessing that impact further on. Yeah.
Saw some more hands up here. Yeah.
Last question.
Okay.
How are you involving your staff in programs like the Microsoft Certified Pro trainer and also Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert program to support their growth of digital competency?
Yeah.
At the moment, on the sort of booking hub that we have, the development hub, we have linked some self-study courses on the MEC. To be honest, we aren't going to roll it out completely to staff at the moment. Although they've got the higher education section within it, a lot of the content is still K-12, American K-12 content. And I think until it becomes a little bit more geared towards higher education, we'll probably be a little bit cautious with it. And we are super keen to start using that because they're great resources. But
I meant more about the kind of you being recognised in terms of teaching and learning.
right, yes.
UMIEs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done the MIE, we've done the MCE, we've got MOS certifications, yes, yeah.
And how's that taken by the staff? Are they recognising that as being something to aspire to?
They're starting to. I don't think they really know too much about it at the moment. And to be honest, it's been fairly new for us using the educator community. So that is in our plans to kind of start making that a little bit more visible and recognisable.
Are they getting benefit from that?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
I just, we've done a very similar thing at Shouts, not quite the number, about 600 or something. And what nobody's actually spoken about is what happens in 3 or 4 years when they all become obsolete.
Yeah, yeah.
And is somebody going to pay for a whole new rollout? Has it been mentioned?
I think I kind of see it as just an ongoing. There'll be naturally, you know, those devices that went out in the pilot, the very, very first pilot, they will naturally come into their end of their life, and those members of staff are getting new devices now. So there is a natural, all our new members of staff automatically get a Surface Pro now when they start at university. So it's just ongoing. And obviously there might be a different device in the future. We don't know, but we're sticking with it. It's a lot of investment.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's move into the other room now, Billy Kelly.